There we go. How we doing, everybody?
Hello, hello.
See ya. We got Jessie here. Let's do this. Here we go. There we go.
What are
We
we
got
doing?
Jessie.
That's the wrong hand. There we go.
Yeah, it's
Let's
hard. It's
do
hard.
this.
It's hard for me to get it right. I always get it wrong. All right. So hi everybody. I see a bunch of people in here. I won't go through saying hi to everybody, but I see you all, and I really appreciate you being here. It's awesome. Um, Tons of awesome people. So Jessie
Yeah.
runs JN Aquarium, the channel. I know Big M put his link down there already. He also has a store with supplies, but that might not stick around for a while. We'll talk about that later. And Jessie has a ton of great information about fish in general. Like I know one of the things he's doing right now is breeding clownfish. And the setup is it's amazing how it all works and everything. I love watching. I don't do any saltwater myself, but he's doing a great job there. And I feel like he's one of the people who don't get near enough attention in the fish fam. Because again, just the sheer amount of knowledge and experience that he's had, and he's got some really interesting fish. Woodcats, right, Jessie?
Yeah. Some people know them as Columbian woodcats or Columbian catfish. Fisher's woodcats is actually
Gotcha.
their name, and I believe the guy who found them, his last name was Fishers. But yeah, I got some of them. But yeah, thanks for having me on.
Sure.
First, I believe actually this is the first time I've been an official guest on somebody's live stream. We were talking about that earlier as well. Now, Rico says that I don't get the attention, my channel doesn't get the attention it deserves, but it gets the exact attention that it needs. And that's what's important to me. I don't do YouTube for fame or fortune, because I understand that I'm not incredibly entertaining all the time. I'm a very factual person. I like to throw facts. I like to throw good fish keeping information. And I say that fish keeping because that's pretty much what all my videos are about. But I like to throw good information out there. Quite frankly, it's almost a battle to battle all the poor information that's out there. So that's kind of my mission, more than to entertain people and woohoo, come to my channel over here. If you want the information, that's where people will find it, and that's exactly why. And to be honest, why I started a YouTube channel was just so I could document the process and how much my fish room changes over the years. I wanted to document it all, and this is how it started, and it's just kind of blossomed from there a bit.
See, we make a good team because you're very factual, and I am the woohoo guy. Just to remind everybody, so the first half hour here or so, I'm going to ask Jessie some questions about his personal life. And then afterwards, we'll open it up to the chat. We won't be looking at the chat very much at all. That's the first half hour. But the second half hour, we'll try and catch it up. So if you have questions, save them for when we open it up for the chat. And again, I see all the different people in here. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. There's 20 people watching so far, and that's awesome. I love it. So Jessie, I know you live in Ontario. What town do you live at in Ontario?
In the hot seat now. I live in a small city. They classify as a city, but it's very small. I think there's 30,000 people here. It's called Orillia, Ontario. We're right on Lake Couchiching, which is connected to Lake Simcoe, which is connected to Georgian Bay and the Trent Severn waterway. So very watery area, touristy area.
Nice. And have you lived in that area your whole life, or?
Yeah, I've lived in the area. I actually grew up in Wasaga Beach. I grew up, even if you're not from Canada, you've probably heard of Wasaga Beach. It's the world's longest freshwater beach. So I grew up in a very touristy town as well, a town that had like 3,000 people living in it when I was a little kid, and in the summer we'd have 250,000 people in town. So that was a very touristy town too. But yeah, it was fun.
Gotcha. And what do you do for a living? I think you're some kind of contractor, or you do something in the construction field, is what my impression is.
Yeah, so I own my own business. I'm self-employed, and I am a flooring contractor. I do hardwood flooring and moldings, essentially. Yeah, keeps me
And
busy.
how long have you been doing that?
Since I was a kid. Yeah,
Oh.
since I was a kid.
Did
How long?
excuse me. Did your dad do it too, or how'd you fall into that?
Uncles and grandfather. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. My father is a mechanic, so and yeah, actually, I'm not a very good mechanic. I try a bit. I did learn some things growing up, but yeah, I prefer woodworking over mechanics.
Gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
watching how you build like the clownfish breeding platform that you built, watching how you built that and stuff, and how you went about doing it and the testing and stuff, I knew that there was some type of you definitely worked with your hands. I knew that just from watching that part. And if you guys haven't seen that, you should definitely go check out those videos about the whole clownfish breeding thing. It's pretty cool, even if you're not into salt water at all, which I'm not. Although Jessie did try and convince me to get into it a little bit by showing me that it's really doesn't have to be as expensive as you think it needs to be. But
no, I got my first saltwater tank a year and a half ago.
Nice.
A year and a half ago. That's my marine experience. So one thing that's funny about YouTube channels as well is quite often people assume you're an expert because you have a YouTube channel,
Yeah.
which is, in my experience, quite the opposite most of the time. Or someone is maybe just an expert in one particular field of what they're talking about, a division of what they're talking about, where I don't even consider myself an expert with breeding clownfish yet. I'm still learning my processes myself on how to be successful, but I document these processes on my channel, A, for myself to look back on mainly, and two, if other people can gain some knowledge and experience from what I've tried. But then people will ask me questions about anemones or this kind of marine fish, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't know. Never heard of it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I guess it's okay as long as you're like that. And me, I try to be as honest as possible up here.
Yeah.
So if I don't know, I will be honest and say I don't know. I won't try and make up some gibberish to just appease somebody to make them think I know, so that they'll keep coming back to my channel. I'd rather people keep coming back just because they know it'll be honest information, or it'll be I don't know.
Yeah. And I think that's all of my favorite fish tubers act the same way. All of them, every single one of them always says, look, I'm no expert. Here's what's worked for me so far. That's the best way to go about it. And I think those are the people that have the most to offer our hobby, is the people who don't have a problem saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So we know what you do. We know where you live. Are you married? Do you have kids? In a relationship?
Yeah. So I have a long list of that stuff. I'm in my third serious relationship, and I have involved with that relationship is 2 stepchildren, 2 young boys, and I have 2 of my own biological boys as well. So we have 4 boys in the house.
Wow.
Ranging in age from 11 to almost 17, and yeah, it's a busy place around here at times.
Yeah, I bet. 4 boys.
COVID lockup, man. I'm surprised there's not more drywall repair to be done in the house.
Yeah, I can imagine. I have 2 boys myself and a daughter, and I can just imagine 4 boys there together. Now I drew a blank. Oh, what other hobbies do you have? What other things do you really get into? Are you like into? I know you do a lot of foraging for like the alder cones and stuff like that. Do you like being out in nature? Do you like to hunt? Any stuff like that? Any other hobbies?
Yeah, so it's not a popular topic anymore these days, but throughout my life, I've been a hunter, a trapper. I did extensive fur trapping when I was younger. I haven't fur trapped in about 10 years, and for no other reason than life got busy. The value of it went down, and yeah, I just explained how many kids are around.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just didn't have time, and that was one thing that had to go. And I could see the trend going away from trapping as well. And it was getting to the point where, yeah, you start getting threats and everything. So I was like, you know, maybe it's just time to hang her up. I still really enjoy fishing. I really enjoy fishing. And it's weird that I'm a fish keeper and I do everything I can to try to keep it. But man, I love going out and hooking fish. I don't know. I guess I can decipher a difference between my pets and wild fish. It doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah.
I guess my latest. I've always been huge into fishing. Huge. Like it's always been my number one thing. And now it's saltwater fishing. I love saltwater fishing now. I want to go as soon as the borders open up. I'm coming in USA, and I'm coming to catch all your saltwater sharks and tarpon and everything else. I'm a thrill seeker. I love the bigger the fish, the better.
Yeah.
The bigger, the better. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, I love bushcraft. I've always done bushcraft and whatnot. Being an Ontario boy, kind of living out in the bush when I was a kid. Yeah, I love it. I love camping. I love the outdoors, fishing, hunting, all of it.
That's one of the most Canadian things I've heard right there, the trapping and everything else. You know, it just goes along. I mean, it's just very, you know, Canadian stereotype basically to be that involved with nature. And frankly, I'm a little jealous of it. Not that I did any trapping or hunting. I do love to fish. Just being out in nature though, and you definitely live in a beautiful area. I've been through some of the area close to you, and it's an amazing place.
Yeah, and trapping's a lot different than it's publicly perceived. It's extremely different than it's publicly perceived. And like when I go to trap, I'm not out there going, I can't wait to see what I killed next. No, I'm out there, like you said, in my serenity. I'm seeing what's going on. I'm studying the whole time I'm out there. I'm studying. I'm studying this track, how this track got from there to there. Why did this animal stop here and check this out? Maybe could I use that to my advantage? I'm in their environment trying to outsmart them. And it's a lot harder than people think, and you really do have to study. It's an art in itself, and it is essential in some areas now. We've encroached so much. If people don't want their homes flooded and floating away, then beaver trapping must be done in a lot of areas that have a high density of beavers that start changing the landscape is what they do, right? They're the best landscape changers in the world.
Yeah.
They create ecosystems, but they want to do it in your subdivision. So we have to have somebody to take care of that as well. But
Sure.
yeah, it's more about being out there, just being out there, and it's quiet. You can a man can get the peace with himself when he's out there, even if he's having a tough time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm with you on that. It's one thing I definitely miss is just being able to get out. I mean, we're not as wild on this side of the lake as you are, but we definitely have our areas where we can go and just get away from it all. I don't know if you've ever been to the Adirondacks, but it's a beautiful area with just a ton of tiny little lakes and stuff, and it's pretty reminiscent of your area too up there.
That's all upstate New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been there, but I've heard it's beautiful. I've heard it's where I can never even say it properly. Adirondacks.
Adirondacks.
Adirondacks. So I don't know if you're aware, but I'm right on the cusp of Muskoka. So just north of Aurelia, you get into Severn Township, and then I'm literally 5 minutes out of Muskoka, driving up the highway. So there are two types of chairs. I don't know if you're
Oh yeah.
are aware of, and a Adirondack chair and a Muskoka chair. They're both very, very similar, built with wood slats. Very, very comfortable chairs, but they do have their minor differences, and they are from those two distinct areas.
That's funny that, and they are very close to each other, and it's weird that even all this time later, that those types of chairs still have their names from the places they were made. You know,
Most definitely.
and both beautiful areas. A little aside, Letterkenny fan.
Early seasons fan. Not a fan of the later seasons.
I still like it. But I agree. This last season hasn't been. This last season was very weird. But
they all needed to tone it down 20% the last couple of seasons.
I think pretty much all Canadians are Letterkenny fans. And if anybody here hasn't watched it, you owe it to yourself. It's the dumbest smart show on TV. It's just it's a great show. The dialogue is amazing and it's hilarious. So if you get a chance, watch that.
For me personally, at least up to season 3. Season 4, it started getting a little funky, I found, and it just didn't keep my interest the same. But up to season 3, it was downright hilarious.
Yeah.
Downright hilarious.
Those are definitely my favorite seasons. And again, I still enjoy it. I look forward to it. You know, I was so happy it was coming out again, and then I was a little disappointed by it. But go ahead.
Sorry, it's Canadian as hell.
Yeah.
Like, all the innuendos through it, all the hockey puns, everything. It's everything about it is Canada. I believe it's filmed just outside of Ottawa. My side of Ottawa, so west of Ottawa in Ontario.
Just like I see in the chat there, which I said I wasn't going to look at the chat, but I did. Xanadudu said Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
There's a lot of great Canadian television. Schitt's Creek, those 3 that we talked about. There's another one I'm tip of my tongue, and I'm not remembering what it is.
Do you remember the old Red Green show?
Yes. In fact, I just watched a clip the other day of him. He's on YouTube, and he's still making new stuff, I believe.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Is he? Man, he's got to be like 100 now.
Yeah. And his voice is just, I don't know. He was always funny, too. Mm-hmm. He's such a dirtbag, and he's just, I don't know.
And his nephew Harold.
Yeah, I'm not remembering.
It was his geeky nephew, but then he went off to play in another Canadian show called Traders, which was all about stock market trading, and he was like the most serious dude of life in that one. Like, he's a good actor, that guy. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but yeah, that was the geeky nephew in Red Green show.
All right. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the chat. Wait, let me think about this. Was there something else I wanted to ask you? We found out where you live, what you do, relationships, hobbies. So this is something I ask pretty much everybody, and I'm sure most people in the chat want to know. How did you get into fish keeping? What started off for you?
I bought a tank. Yeah, I guess.
Smart.
Yeah, I bought it. Well, I was young. I was like, we had a fish tank when I was a kid, like a kid. But I never took a drastic like a real interest into it. I was always interested in creatures and in fish and everything else. But like, I had a tree fort in the backyard, and it was like I probably had a better reptile collection in that tree fort than most reptile stores had at the time, just from going back in the swamp and collecting them myself. And but I never, I remember I killed all my parents' fish because I threw a bunch of newt salamanders in their fish tank, just figuring they'd all get along, right? And they did not. The newts did well, but the fish did not. So that's how I started. And then when I was like 12, I was experimenting through pets. I know that sounds horrible, but I guess when you're a kid and you're trying to figure out what kind of pet you really want. So traded pets around a little bit, like parrots and fish, and or sorry, not fish, birds, mainly different birds I was into, and I ended up trading a parrot. I think this was a parrot that like you had to wear welding gloves to go up to it. It was so mean. It was so mean. It just wanted to kill you. Its eyes would pulsate and it would go after you. Like it was nasty. So I was like, okay, I'll trade you for this fish tank. I got like this 100-gallon fish tank for him.
Nice.
And there was a guy that lived. We had this marketplace book. It was called the Super Shopper back then for our area. It was like the classifieds. I'm talking pre-internet stuff. Yeah. Aging myself a bit here, but so I would look through the Super Shopper and I seen there was this guy that lived in Wasaga Beach, same town as me, and phone number. So I called him up, and yeah, he lived just around the corner. I went in and he had a fish room in his basement. He had a little everything was crammed. It stunk. It just stunk like, you know how a fish room stinks. It just, you go into most fish rooms and it's just, there's too much humidity and everything else, right? So I went in there and he just got like tanks and tanks and tanks of African cichlids everywhere. That's all I had. So at that point, that's all I knew existed was African cichlids. So I learned from him. His name was Tim, actually, and now actually, Tim, we still converse now to this day. But be honest, now I'm giving Tim a lot of information now. But so he sold me 3 yellow labs, and I took them home and I bred them and kept them alive, bred them. Next thing I know, I got 50 yellow labs. Next thing I know, I got overflow tanks of yellow labs, and I got people. I'm putting classifieds in the Super Shopper now, selling yellow labs, and yeah, just went from there. Another tank. Then I got out of it in my later teenage years for a bit, and then I got back into it, and then divorced and got out of it, got back into it, and I've been into it since.
And roughly how long have you been back into it?
About 10 years.
Yeah.
About 10 years, yeah. There's been a 10 years straight this time, solid into it. Not always at this level and not always doing the same stuff, but yeah.
Nice.
I enjoy it. I love it.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad you expanded on I bought a fish tank.
Yeah. No, I'm not trying to ruin your chat, but that's essentially how it started. I didn't get anything gifted to me or anything. I took my paper money and went and bought a fish tank.
Nice. Okay, so that's pretty much all my questions. So why don't I'm going to scroll back up here in the chat. And again, hello everybody. We've got 30 people watching today.
Yeah, who we got in here?
Appreciate y'all being here. Again, you got to go check out Jesse's channel. He's got way more subscribers than I do. He's got plenty of people who do check out his channel. But I know he doesn't really care so much about the subscribers. He's just trying to offer good information to people. But I feel like he's offering so much good information. There's not enough people taking advantage of it. So you really need to go check it out.
Yeah, and I think I get pretty technical on some stuff. And I'm okay with that because I guess what I'm saying is that there's a gazillion videos out there for the beginner. There's a gazillion videos. Why do I need to clog that space up anymore with what I have to offer? There's way better filmmakers out there, way better people at making videos than me. I'm just being realistic. And why do I need to clog that section up when I can sometimes offer stuff maybe a little bit more advanced? And that's not to put anybody down, but just there's some people that are interested in more of the hobby than just keeping fish or just breeding fish. Some people want to learn about how to basically code the genetics of your fish, how you can come up with different color variants of your fish, different fin lengths, how to straighten the fins out, how to, there's so many things you could take this hobby to, so many levels. And I like that, for me, I like to keep the levels going forward because that's what drives me forward. I like challenges.
Well, having said what you just said, I'll say that when I've come into your chat, and I'm a newbie, and when I've asked questions, you've been very accessible and answered my questions. So even though you might be, really sort of offering more advanced content, you're still open to people asking questions and to helping that newbie out with those questions that are probably easily found elsewhere too.
But how do you get to advanced stuff? You get to advanced stuff from learning the basic stuff.
Yeah.
And if you don't get solid advice on the basic stuff, that might interrupt your success to get to the more. It could be something so simple going on that you've maybe been given poor advice, or you're doing it incorrectly, not to the advice, but unknowingly.
Yeah.
And so if you can't answer those, you have to still answer those questions and try to answer them to help the person along without a. So, like, I don't know about you. There's two things I hate. There's two things I hate, and that's gray areas and assholes. Okay, those are two things I hate. And what I refer to as an asshole is someone that constantly asks you essentially the same question over, but they're waiting for a different answer to come out of your mouth. They're waiting for you to offer them an easier answer or a softer answer or an answer that would be more convenient to their life instead of the truth. And that's, like, get out of my, if that's, get lost. If that's the way you're going to be, I don't have time for that. I got time for people that want to learn. And when I say that, and I try to always say, this is the way I do it. It's not necessarily the right way. It's what I've found some success with. But also something I've learned. I don't know if you've found this. You can have two tanks right beside each other. You can put the exact same water in those two tanks right beside each other. You can offer the exact same lighting. You can offer the exact same filtration, the exact same bubble flow, the exact same heat. Everything. Like, that's all I do around here is duplicate. I duplicate water. I make water. I breed water, not fish. I get the water right and the fish just come. But those two tanks can be so drastically different. They can be so drastically different in their algae growth rates. They can be drastically different in how long they take to cycle, or if one drops cycle and one doesn't drop cycle. They could be, everything about them can be totally different when you've duplicated it. So the same thing can be applied to, if I'm trying to teach you a technique that I use to do a certain thing on an aquarium. If you're doing it just that slight bit different than I am, just that slight bit different, it just might not work the exact same. And it's that slight bit thing that might be the match that broke the camel's back. Yeah.
And that's one of the sort of, I think that's sort of one of the cool things about the hobby is that, yes, there's a ton of information out there. There's a lot of people that know their stuff, but you still have to figure out what works exactly for you. And that's part that I enjoy about the hobby is people are constantly offering, advice and things, but I always try to figure out exactly what works for me with what I'm trying to do. I love that part of it. And back to what you said, I'm surprised you came on to let me interview you, because I pretty much am just a gray area and I am an asshole. So.
But yeah, I'm not a big fan of gray areas. I like a yes, no, black, white. It's gotta be. I don't like, well, maybe. Well, maybes don't work with me. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's open up to this. Let's see. If people have your questions, now's a good time to ask them. And again, lots of people, lots of cool people, lots of people I see all the time.
You're way more popular than I am.
Nah.
Oh yeah, you are.
They're here for you. That's why they're here.
No, this is great for you. You've been doing really well. You just kind of popped on the scene, And then you just kind of got right up in there. You got a very friendly personality. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's what people keep telling me is I'm friendly. I'm just a great actor.
you gotta. Well, that's good. Whatever. It's YouTube. That's what it's for, isn't it?
Let's see.
You got any questions?
I'm looking. Oh, here we go. Dragon Lair. How is the longfin blue pleco breeding going?
I knew you'd be asking. Dragon Lair watches a lot of my stuff. I got eggs. But he booted him out of the cave. So I'm back to I don't got eggs, but I've had eggs. So that's a step in the right direction. These guys have been very, very slow to breed, very slow. I think we're up to a year and a half now. I've been waiting for these guys. I hatched these guys, and they're a 6th generation line bred ancestress that on the babies I've been starting to get a tint of blue in the babies, and I've never in my life seen a blue ancestress. If you could show me one, I'd love to see it because I've never seen one. And so this is something I'm trying to exploit and see if I can't start a blue line longfin ancestress.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Oh, let's see. A lot of people saying hi still. A lot of people coming in. Just scrolling through here.
Yeah, why do you call people jerks at the start of your videos? I just seen this here. Yeah, what's the gig with that?
It's nothing. It's just silly. It's, we got fish fam, we got fish folks, we got, everybody. If you watch any of the videos, people are always saying hi to everybody. Some people just say, hey, everybody. I just want to do something a little different. So I decided to call people jerks.
It catches your attention.
It's a funny, light insult to get the video started on the right foot.
I'll be totally honest with you. Your first video I watched, and that was the intro on it. I heard that. I was like, what the? He's just messing around, right? But it honestly catches your attention. You go, hey, what's going on?
I told you I was an asshole.
Yeah, a little bit there.
I was trying to, yeah.
I didn't take offense to it once I realized what was going on. I didn't take offense to it whatsoever, but it definitely, I was like, hey, yeah. Well,
and I don't think anybody, one time I made mention in one of my videos, I said, for the people that want to offer me advice, shut the hell up. And I said it jokingly. And I actually had people get a little upset with me and say, well, you're on YouTube. People are going to give you advice. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Thanks for the advice. And I was like, I don't mind the advice. I get that most people are coming from a good place, but I like to figure things out on my own, and I'm not looking for advice. And I don't ever like to give somebody advice unless they ask me for it. And I'm the same way, as I don't want somebody to give me advice unless I ask for it. That's just how I am. I'm with that with every topic. Maybe it's because I'm old and, crotchety. I don't know. But
you know what else that intro of yours would do? It would definitely weed out the hard asses, right?
Yeah.
It would definitely weed out the people that would take offense to that. They wouldn't. Yeah. Then you don't have to worry about all the offensive stuff they're going to say in your chat after, right? So maybe that's a really good preemptive intro.
Maybe it's working because the Fish Fam has been nothing but welcoming and supportive, and I haven't met a single person in all of the Fish Fam, and I go to a lot of streams, and you see me everywhere. I've never come across somebody that I really did not like or who was a dick to me or whatever. It's been the most, and I've done this before. I've gone through other communities, gaming communities, and you name it, just different stuff I get into, and there's always been a toxic element in those, and I'm sure there is here too. I haven't encountered it. And we're working about 8 months in now that I've been doing this. So 8 months, I really haven't met anybody who's a real jerk. So that's pretty impressive to me.
They seem to weed themselves out on this platform. I haven't had to deal with a whole lot of that either. The place where you deal with that crap, the constant unsolicited advice, the constant belittling of people asking what we'll call beginner questions, maybe questions that that person who's been sitting there trolling on Facebook for 20 years has heard 85,000 times, and they just snapped at that moment because they heard it one last time. Maybe they need to get up away from the computer for a while. But Facebook fish groups, Facebook fish groups. Some of them are great. Some of them are great. Can I do a shout out to the one that's helped me out? Probably
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
The one that when I got into saltwater, marine, see, I don't even say it properly yet. When I got into marine, the one that helped me out the absolute most was the Berry and Area reefers. Berry and Area reefers. And that's those guys were, and gals, were absolutely fantastic. But most of them are just a bashing pit. And I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Some of them I'm on are really good. Most of them I'm on are good because I deleted myself from the ones that I don't support, the ones that sit there and just bash someone because maybe one person thought they were being cruel to animals because they weren't taking care of them right. But the person you can see genuinely just didn't know how to take care of them. Shame on them for not doing the research, but we don't need to publicly shame them. Yeah. They're probably feeling shameful enough after what some of these assholes have been saying to them on these forums, right? So I think this platform allows for a lot friendlier approach because frankly, you just don't, you can block people out of your chat. You can do, I've really never had to do it, but I know the options there. If I have somebody that's on the chat, just trying to disturb things, the options there. So I think that helps.
I think you're right too. And I think part of it is with Facebook. Yeah, they have their live streaming stuff and all that, but it's not like this. And what we're doing right now, and we're talking face to face, and everybody's seeing us. There's real people here, and with Facebook, it's sometimes easy to forget that. Yeah, that's a real person on the other side of the keyboard there, on the other side of the screen. With this, you can hear my voice, you can see my face, and I think that helps. Make it a little more human, and I think
more personable.
Yeah, and that maybe takes a little bit of the edge off for certain people. Okay. Hey, Big M, if you could do me a favor and look up that, what can you say the name of the group that you liked again, Jesse?
Oh, Berry and Area Reefers.
So if one of the mods could maybe take a look at that and put up the link for that would be great.
And that has to do with marine, not smoking weed.
Okay, let's see. I'm not seeing a whole lot of questions. Most of this is just, and I see Big M. He always asks the same question. So Jesse, he'd like to know, what would you change about yourself? What's the main thing that you would change about yourself?
What would I change? That's a pretty heavy.
Yeah, he does it every stream.
What would I change about myself? Well, the one thing I wouldn't change my ability to see my shortcomings. That's I can see most of my shortcomings, I think, and be aware of them. Probably I would be a little bit more affectionate if I could have changed anything about myself. I would probably be a little bit more affectionate. I'm not a super affectionate person. I'm not, like I said, I don't get real high. I don't get real low. I kind of stay right there. So, yes, if I was to change anything about myself, I would probably allow myself to be a little bit more affectionate.
that's probably the best answer we've had, because most people are like me. And again, Madrul asks this every week too. I never have an answer for him, but this time I actually do. And if I could change anything about myself, it'd be to not have an autoimmune disease that keeps me from doing the things that I love to do. So I actually have a question, an answer for you this time. Okay, here we go. Freshwater Canucks, and one of your countrymen there. Great guy too. People should go check out his channel. He doesn't have a lot of subscribers either, but a lot of good content there, and I enjoy watching his videos.
Sound about chasing numbers?
Yes, you got that one.
Sorry, I see one here. I think there was one above it though. What's the actual question? Do you have it there?
I had a question about if JN is one to chase numbers in his tank, like test TDS, etc. ritually.
Yes.
So do you really keep a close eye on all the numbers in your tanks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I have now. What I've tried to do is simplify it though, and I have systems in place to simplify things. So now I basically have a couple different categories of tanks, and I try to keep the numbers the same within the categories of tanks. So I obviously have my marine tanks. I have a marine system that has 8 tanks on it, and then I have 2 larvae grow tanks that require a different number of water, and then I have some tanks that are straight RO water. I'm trying to recreate the Amazon. I am trying to breed L128 Blue Phantom Hemiancestris in that tank, and I'm shooting for numbers that most people think will kill fish. Like I'm shooting for 5, pH of 5. You know, we're just a touch above coffee. So yeah, I do chase numbers, but I don't think chasing numbers is the correct term. I set a number and stick to a number. I don't chase it. I don't chase it. I figure out how to get to that number, and I get that number. Chasing numbers is bad. If you're trying to chase numbers that you're not able to keep consistent and achieve consistently, and just keep it there, not have to keep achieving it, just achieve it and keep it, then yeah, you're probably causing more harm than good. Quite often it's not as terrible for the fish to be thrown into an environment of a lower pH than it is of a higher pH. If you're taking a fish out of a pH of 6 and you're going to go put that fish into water that's a pH of 8.2, 2 things are going to happen. They're going to get a gill burn. They're going to get a gill burn from it, because ammonia at a pH of 6 is damn near non-toxic, whereas an ammonia in a pH of 8.2 is extremely toxic, so that fish won't be used to it whatsoever. So these differences and the raise in pH, fish just don't deal with a raise in pH as well. That's why you always see the breeding season start after a rainy season, and then what the rainy season does is bring the pH down in the lake, cools the water a little bit, river, lake, whatever we're talking about, body of water. But a rainy season brings essentially fresh RO water into the lake, lowers the pH, the fish get comfortable, they eat more, they eat better, everything happens. The eggs won't be as hard, the eggs will hatch easier, not being born in as high of a pH water. Abundance of mosquitoes and bugs hit the water because the rain brings them down and puts them into the water surface. All this happens for a reason in nature, and so what I try to do is recreate it sometimes, and I have to achieve and keep numbers to do that.
So you heard that, right? Everybody just heard that answer, right? That's what I'm talking about when I say that Jessie has great information. That wasn't just you know, 2 sentences. That was a ton of a wealth of information, and that's what you get when you go watch his videos and stuff. That was a great example, perfect example. I'm glad you.
I just talked too much.
Well, no, you answered the question, and you made it so that it wasn't just yes. It was yes. Here's what I really mean, and here's why, and you gave a real life example that could be applied to it. So that's what I was talking about. That's a great bit. Okay. I saw one from Eric. Where's Eric? Eric Furlow had a question. Where was it? Oh, can you ask Jesse if he has any experience in taking care of saltwater skunk cleaner shrimp fry? None at all.
Never owned a skunk cleaner shrimp. Sorry. Okay. Freshwater shrimp? I know freshwater shrimp, but I've never kept. On that topic, though, you know, I was just looking at one of my freshwater tanks, and I noticed one of my, like, really old, huge Amano shrimp is loaded, just buried to the gills again. And that requires using marine water to hatch them out. There's a system you have to do. You have to basically try to recreate them going down the stream to the ocean, their eggs tumbling to the ocean. They grow up there and then come back into the fresh water. That's actually a project that I've been thinking may be my next project, is trying to breed a mono shrimp.
Nice. Nice. That's a good one. Sandy, where'd that go? It jumped on me. Oh, here we go. Our friend Sandy, please ask when I can get some long fin green dragons. Also, the short fin green dragons I got from him are doing well.
Well, I don't have any long fin green dragons, Sandy. I've never owned one. Never owned a long fin green dragon. I'm glad to hear your short fins are doing well. I actually broke up my breeding group of green dragons, but I've started a new one. But they're just not quite there yet. They're still too young.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, it jumped on me, so hold on. I'm way back when we were talking about being a jerk. Got to catch up.
I'm trying to look for one here.
Yeah, if you see one, just go ahead, jump on it.
Yeah, somebody, Freshwater Canuck says, yeah, I get you. I would, for breeding, suppose, but I've been testing lately for TDS, etc., and the pH. Some weird things with a couple fish lost. If I could pick your brain after the chat, would be awesome. Yeah, if you find me on, wherever, Facebook or whatever, I can talk with a lot of people. I think I can talk with anybody about fish. I think the problem when people start using RO water and they don't buffer it. Nobody talks about buffering water. If you don't buffer it, your pH is gonna fly all over the place. When I actually learned about buffering and whatnot was not from fish. I gained my commercial pools license, so I can maintain commercial swimming pools. You need to buffer your pH in a commercial swimming pool, or it's going to crash on you. You're going to have a green pool, or you're going to kill everybody with the chlorine. Like, it's there's a fine balance there. So if you're using straight RO water, you have to put some things into the water to buffer that pH, keep it from swinging up and down. And one product I use if I'm going for a low pH but not a super low pH would be like the shrimp salts. I can't even read them from here. They're way over there. But I have some shrimp salts that help you buffer the pH and raise it. Some substrates, like I use a lot of Amazonia ADA here. It's a active substrate that constantly produces ammonia. But if you have a good cycle, it's okay. But it's an active substrate, and it buffers a pH to like 6.3, right? So you have to do things. Oak leaves, alder cones, I do that a lot to lower pHs as well. But if you just leave it, just straight up RO water, you'll have swings and you'll have fish loss.
You mentioned people have seen you on Facebook. Do you want to put your Facebook account on there or not really?
I'd prefer not to. I kind of, yeah, it just didn't.
Not a problem. Totally understand. Totally understand. Uh-oh, Patty's here. Okay.
Bottom dweller's asking if I have any long. I do have I do have some long fins coming up for sale, actually. And they're mature. They're breeding pairs. I don't have super reds, but I have albinos.
And you don't ship into the States, right? You don't ship livestock. Yeah, way too hard.
No, I really don't like shipping livestock, period. And for the most part, yeah, I prefer local pickup. I think that's the way it should be. It's way better for the fish. And yeah, I prefer to do more wholesale stuff, actually, local fish stores. But breeding pairs and stuff like that, I sell to hobbyists.
Bottom Dwellers doesn't live too far from me. He's another couple of hours, so it'd probably be about a I don't know, about a 7-hour drive for you there, Angus.
Yeah.
Maybe you could go up around the lake into Quebec and go that way.
They won't let you in there now either.
Yeah, that's true. They don't want us up there. I don't blame them.
So Bottom Dwellers is saying that it all just moved on me. He's got his city water is super hard, or his well water is super hard with a pH of 8 and a TDS of 250. My tap water here, like my fish need helmets. My tap water here is a TDS of 400.
That's mine.
And a pH of 8.4. And I successfully raised a lot of fish in that water. African cichlids love it. You have water like that, and you love African cichlids, don't touch your water. Keep it just the way it is. They love it.
I don't remember exactly. I haven't looked at my pH in a while, but it's well above 8, and my TDS is like almost borderline undrinkable from the well. It's like 468.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty heavy.
Yeah. 500, they say, is, or the EPA says
toxic.
You're not supposed to drink it. Yeah. So we don't drink it anyways. But I do use it in my fish tanks, and then every once in a while I'll put a few buckets outside and collect some rainwater and do some mixing in to lower it a little bit there. Of course, this time of the year it's a little hard to do, but
yeah, you scoop your rainwater this time of year and melt it.
Yeah. John McKenzie's got a great question for you.
Yeah.
Why is he a Flyers fan, being from Canada?
Well, John McKenzie, if you studied the Philadelphia Flyers, you realize that there are many, many players on it that are from Ontario, Canada. Claude Giroux, for one, the captain of the team. Their goalie, Carter Hart, is from Ontario. Who else? There's a couple others. I'm being stumped on camera here, but there is several. Their coach is from Ontario. Yeah, there's a lot of Ontario connections to the Flyers. And since now it's gone down, it used to be 60% Canadians were in the NHL.
Yeah.
Yeah, the National Hockey League, the hockey league that's supposed to draw from the entire world. It used to be 60% Canadians. Yeah. So I feel a Canadian has a right to cheer for whatever team he so desires, no matter what country the team was purchased in.
So one of the most Canadian things I ever heard, I used to have to go up to, I think it was Oakville. I think that was the name of it.
Yeah, right near Toronto.
Yeah. We had I was a web developer for a chemical company, and I used to have to go up there once a month and do some work, some IT stuff up there. And it was right after one of the teams left, maybe went to Denver. I don't remember. I don't remember. It's so long ago. I don't remember which team had left Canada and came to the States. And one of the girls was picking on me about something. And I said, you're just mad because we took whatever team it was. And she's like, yeah.
Quebec Nordiques, you could have them. We didn't fight, man. You could have them.
She goes,
Quebec Nordiques.
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, give us back our hockey, eh? And it was the most Canadian thing I'd ever heard in my life, and it stuck with me all these years. I mean, that was 20 years ago. Hey, there's Bird Garden. There's another guy, got an awesome channel. If anybody's into bird watching at all, which I love doing, he's got a really cool channel, shows all different kinds of birds in Tennessee. Fun to watch this time of the year because of the migrations and stuff. But Kira said she lived in Oakville as a kid. I didn't know that.
So there's a question here. What is the one aquatic plant you have to have in all your tanks? Duckweed. And you don't have a choice about it either. It's just gonna happen. But no, on a serious note, I really enjoy, for the tanks that it's suitable for, I really enjoy water lettuce. I like floaters. I like water lettuce. Duckweed comes with it. Some of them look kind of gross and they get all over your stuff and whatnot. But for a lot of fish that are breeding, they like the shade. They like the shade of all these floating plants offer. And if you happen to have egg scatterers or whatever, fish, like even the fisher woodcats, half the time I'll find little babies up in the duckweed and the roots of the water lettuce. So I guess if I was only allowed one plant in my tanks, it would be water lettuce.
Nice. I'm probably with you there. I love it. Our buddy Chattanooga Ed sent me some, I don't know, 3-4 months ago, and everybody said it doesn't ship very well, but it came in pretty good. Now, most of the root structure fell off after
they'll come back.
But yeah, it came back, and now it's covering my one guppy tank. It's all over. It's amazing, and it looks great. I love the way the roots hang down, the shrimp hang onto it and stuff. And
how's it doing in your hard water?
Doing great. Although what I've noticed, though, is it really doesn't get super big. It spreads like crazy, but it doesn't get really super big.
Yeah, it stays small in hard water, eh?
Yeah.
It doesn't like hard water.
That's about it, though. It propagates like crazy. Like I said, he gave me 3 good-sized ones, and now that's a 45 tall, and the whole thing is totally covered.
Oh, wow.
And I've got it in other tanks now that it's just starting to spread out.
My shrimp tanks, the roots literally shoot straight for the bottom of the tank and literally bury in the substrate. Like they root themselves to the bottom of the tank.
Wow. And how deep of a tank?
It's only a foot deep, the tank, but like this happens within a week.
Wow.
Yeah. So pretty quick procedure.
You need to at least get a couple shots or a quick video of that, because I'd love to see that too. Those are that is cool. I definitely it's up there. The other one that I like is I don't know if it's Elodia or Anacris.
Elodia? I've seen Elodia in your videos.
Yeah.
That's that video where I suggested that you get some when I give you unsolicited advice and suggested that you make like a Christmas moss guppy grass mixture and throw it in for your egg scatterers. Yeah. That was Elodia that I seen in that video. Yeah, I have quite a bit of it. It grows like crazy. Yeah.
I love it. And the main reason I love it is when I was a kid in the early 70s, it was about the only plant you could find because it really doesn't need anything. It didn't need all these, we didn't have the fancy lights and stuff back then. It didn't really need, what a lot of them need today. So it was one of the most popular plants. And I had it in all my tanks when I had, when I was a kid, and it was the only plant I had. So getting it, I totally forgot about it. And then a couple months ago, I saw it on eBay and I saw the picture. I went, holy shit, that's the stuff I used to have. So now I have it in all the tanks. I bought a ton of it, and it loves the hard water too. It's doing great.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to care. I think you can collect that outside your house. You guys would have it in your watersheds around you.
I need to look and see. We definitely have a ton of hornwort, and I've taken a ton of that out, but this year was the first time I ever looked for it. So
you should have. We have it.
I'll have to do some digging this year, and that brings up a good question. Do you do any native fish at all?
No. Yeah, I'm really interested. We got some weird ass laws here in Ontario.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so, like, even though I possess a sport fishing license, there's two fishing licenses you can get in Ontario. It's a sport fishing license or a conservation fishing license. They have different catch limits. So I go for the higher catch limit in case I would like to bring home a feed of fish to eat. So, and I used to do bass tournaments and whatnot. So it's I've always just bought the sport license. But under the sport license, I can bring game fish home. and I can put them in an aquarium if I so choose. But they count towards my daily possession limit on
Oh,
my license. And here's the kicker of that. Now, so say I get a little largemouth bass and I put him in my tank. While that bass is in season, I'm in legal possession. When that bass goes out of season in
gotcha.
December until June, I'm
Yeah,
not in legal possession of that fish alive.
gotcha.
It could be dead in my freezer, but I'm not
Yeah,
legal to have it alive.
that's just dumb.
Yeah, it
I think
is.
it's the same here. I think we have the same type of things. I know I really only looked into what I can legally take to bring into the house. And because our property actually touches a bay, I can take anything that comes to the high water mark, anything above the high water mark, any kind of plants, any kind of rocks, any kind of driftwood,
Okay.
any of that kind of stuff I can take. I can't take anything below that. So, um,
Now, one thing I didn't think about though was like non-game fish, right?
yeah,
Ones that would be classified as minnows or bait.
yeah,
So I do know we have a possession limit for live minnows as well, which is whatever. But I
yeah.
think it's 100. I think we're allowed 100 live minnows. So maybe if us, got into like some of the little darter minnows and
Yeah.
chubs and stuff like that, there's some really cool looking sticklebacks and stuff like
Sculpin.
that. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
a tank of yellow perch would just look fantastic. They are so colorful, and I think they would be
Ah,
super awesome in an aquarium.
I don't think I could do that because they look delicious.
They do, but just get little ones, so they're really hard to clean, right? We
Yeah.
Lake Couchiching, where I live, we are renowned for some of the very best perch fishing in the world. Like it's good. Like I've walked off the ice with several 16-inch jumbos, a
Yeah.
16-inch perch. It's right, like several in one day.
I've never ice fished before, but they'll probably start doing it pretty soon. This has been really super warm, probably for you
Yeah, it
guys too,
has.
right?
Yeah.
So the bay, I noticed today, it's really just starting to freeze decent, and it's supposed to get down to like 10 Fahrenheit the next couple of days. So I bet you I'll start seeing them out there pretty soon.
Yeah, our lake's froze. Cooch is froze up pretty good. Guys have been out there. It's been crazy with everybody being cooped up, and we have stay-at-home orders right now and stuff. Am I allowed to
Yeah.
say that on this? Yeah. Um, so people have been looking for an escape. People have been looking for something to do, and ice fishing has become extremely popular this year. Extremely popular where there's ice, but
Yeah.
we've had problems. Yeah, freshwater Canuck says here, yeah, a bit of a slippery slope on that for sure. At JN, I've dived into the laws on native species, etc., and banned in Ontario. I figured that was pretty much it. So you would never see it on my YouTube channel if I did have any.
I'm going to look into it myself and see what ours are because there's a guy out there, Dan Hertschu. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Um,
Oh, yeah, me either.
he's in Baltimore, and he's got native tanks. Yeah, maybe.
Maple Street Aquatics.
No, but he does too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he's got.
Yep,
Yeah,
he's got a lot too. No,
they're
this
some
guy's
pretty
name
cool
is
fish.
Dan. Hold on, I got to look it up now. It's going to bother me. Hitashu. I don't know. He lives in Baltimore, and he's got a bunch of native tanks, and he's got a lot of the sculpins and stuff in there.
Okay.
Hold on, that guy. A lot of really cool stuff. He goes out and catches them. He'll go to the stream and you walk along with him and he catches them, tells you what he's got, and he goes through the whole thing. It's a lot of fun to watch his stuff, and he's got a lot of really interesting, a lot of crayfish and stuff like that too.
I love it. I love going out and catching stuff out in the wild, like just to check it out and let it go again, right? I can tell you when we travel, when we used to be allowed to travel to the Caribbean, uh, half of our damn trip would be scouring the beach and digging through the sand and looking in all the holy rock and everything along to seeing what kind of critters we can find and check out. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's just so awesome, whether it's marine or freshwater. You wouldn't believe the stuff that lives out there.
I love doing that too, and I actually collect field guides, and I used to love to take them. You know, I'd have a backpack and it's just all field guides in there, so I could pick something up no matter where we were, beach or in the woods or whatever, and try and figure out exactly what it was. The mushrooms, just all of that. I love just knowing what it was. So
well, you gotta be careful with those mushrooms.
Sure.
Some of them are poisonous. Some of them are a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Yep.
Some of them are just edible.
Yeah. And I would never, I don't know enough about them to try any of them. So unless I was with somebody like, I'm sure you watch Alex from The Secret History Living in Your Aquarium. Have you ever watched him?
I have to make a confession.
You don't watch too many.
I don't watch much YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't have time.
Yeah. I get you. I get you. A lot of other people have said the same thing, that they don't really watch too much of it. I'm not sure what kind of degree he has, but he does a really good job, just like you, explaining the whys and wherefores of stuff. He knows the background of so many different things, and he's a super intelligent person. But he gets into all kinds of different things, and sometimes he'll take you on a walk to a park or something and show you the different mushrooms and exactly what they are and how they work and just all kinds of stuff. He's when it comes to nature, he's got it down. Yeah.
Why don't you try and guess what my next purchase for my fish room is going to be? I play a little game. My next purchase, and it's gonna be. I'm gonna give you a hint because that's pretty wide open. You'll never guess it.
Yeah.
It's for looking at stuff.
Microscope.
Oh, you're too good. You're too good. I thought maybe you're gonna say macro lens or something.
No, because I thought about that for myself as well. Not that I would know what I was looking at so much, but I just wanted to do it just to see.
I want a microscope. I want to see some of this stuff, and I want a microscope that I can actually video. I can hook to my camera, my phone, or whatever, and I can I could transfer the microscope video onto video, so we can all look at what some of this really cool stuff is. Like, wouldn't it be cool? This is how much of a geek I am, and how much I just hang out in my basement. Wouldn't it be cool to be able to decipher the difference between two different types of phytoplankton?
Yeah, yeah. Not that I use phytoplankton, but you know.
I'm just saying, like, like there's
so
much
difference like that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like just learning
everything.
Just learning. I feel blind with what I do around here with marine stuff and whatnot. You can also find out what your own bacterial infections your fish may have are, or whether they are a bacterial infection or if it's a tumor or whatever. To be able to look at live cells under a microscope, you can, with a little bit of research while you're doing it. Let's face it, there's Wikipedia, people. You can figure out what anything is if you got a phone in your hand. So I think it'd be really cool to be able to actually diagnose microscopic stuff in your fish room. It's
taking it to a whole nother level there. We need a Fishopedia.
We do. We do.
You know,
we can put in all our made-up words.
Like Fishopedia?
Yeah. Or just about any clownfish name out there. Or many, many other fish. Cichlids would be another one that's hard for that. African cichlids, everybody's made up names for African cichlids. You'd never keep up with a Fishopedia.
All right, so let's, I'm just scrolling through. And again, everybody in the chat, I apologize. A lot of times in these streams, I get so into talking with the person that I'm not paying attention to all you guys in the chat. And I know I don't like that when I go to a live stream and they're not really interacting, so I apologize. So if you had a question for Jessie and I missed it, please repost it for me. Let's see if if there's anything else. Let's see. It's 20 to 8. Are you in a hurry to go, Jessie? Or you got stuff planned?
No, if you got questions for me,
okay. We'll give it some more time.
If you want to chat, whatever, man.
We still got 34 people in here, so we'll still hopefully somebody else has some other questions for you. I'm just scanning through to make sure I didn't miss any here. That is the bad thing about this, how it skips on you when you're trying to. Oh,
someone's asking me for an Instagram. No, I don't Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Jessie Store. Type my name in, maybe. Can I get on here? No, I can't. Anyways.
You don't mind me putting your last name?
No, that's fine.
Make sure I spelled it right. I don't think that's right. That's not right, is it?
Oh, I can't see it yet.
Storer?
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Yep, that's correct. But yeah, I don't know. What else do you want to know, Rico?
Where do babies come from?
Hey. Hey.
Do you have some dolls you can show me where babies come from? Maybe interactive.
No, I can't give away all my tricks. Can't give away all my techniques.
Let's see. Freshwater Connects. Yep, he said he'll message on a video, on one of your videos.
Panoptics. Someone's Greg the Guppy guy's asking me about Panoptics. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is either, although it looks familiar.
Don't know.
What is it, Greg? Tell us.
Yeah. Tell us what your opinion is on it, because I don't know.
And I'm not seeing any other. Big M. Tomato or tomato?
Tomato.
Yeah, tomato. I don't think anybody says tomato anymore.
No.
That was probably back in the 20s and the 30s.
Well, in Ontario, the thing is, there's two ways to say Toronto. All of us just say Toronto, right? But if you're from Toronto, you generally say Toronto.
Toronto, yeah.
Toronto. Yeah,
there's a lot of that type of, like around here, anything that has creek in the name, like there's a little town not far called Red Creek. It's not creek, it's creek, yeah. Red Creek. Or any town that ends with C-O-T-T, cot. When I lived in Arizona, there's a place called Prescott, but it's not called Prescott, it's called Prescott. Same here, it's a little town called Wolcott. So it's always kit and not cot.
We keep our cots and creeks together. We do. We like near Hamilton. There's a town, city called Stony Creek. We don't call it Stony Creek.
No.
No way. No, I would laugh my ass off if someone called it Stony Creek. Just saying.
Well, I'm gonna have to go there and call it that then. They'll know I'm American right away, right?
Oh, we pick up on it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Pick up on it pretty quick. I will say, you guys have the best amusement parks, by far. Like, for comfort of the parents. So, like Darien Lake, you can walk into the park with a beer while your kids are running around. Like, where have you been all my life? You can't do that in Canada. You can't do that.
No.
Like Canada's Wonderland. No. You can camp right there at the gate of the park, and the kids can just come and go as they please while you sit there. Like, come on. It's fantastic. So, yeah, you guys have the best theme parks, for sure, amusement parks. You know how to get them done.
They have a lot of concerts there, but I've never actually been to Darien Lake. Never been.
Yeah, it was when we were there. It was oh shit!
Oh,
I
Chattanooga Ed. Sorry,
can't
didn't
believe
mean to interrupt you.
can't believe I'm drawing on this. Van Halen. It was Van
Wow.
Halen. Yeah,
With Sammy or with David Lee or the originals.
David
Wow.
Lee. It was David
So,
Lee.
so probably early 90s, late 80s.
No, no, it was oh god, 2000s.
Oh,
Deep
they did that
2000s.
tour. They did like
Yeah,
one tour with David Lee again. I forgot. Yep.
yeah. To be honest with you, he pretty much stood up there and told old man stories. What he did. I was actually a little disappointed in him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You can't go back. Yeah.
No.
I've never seen Van Halen. I've seen a lot of shows, and Van Halen's one I never did see. I've seen a lot. I've seen your countrymen there, Rush, 3 times.
Yeah.
I saw them for Hemispheres, Moving Pictures, and Signals. I think those
Oh,
3 albums
fantastic.
in a row. Big Rush fan. Also saw the other one, the other Canadian trio. Same
Tragically
time,
hip.
Triumph.
Tragically hip.
No, oh no, I would like to
No,
have
I
seen
never
them.
seen Tragically hip.
No, never. I would have liked to, but no,
Yeah.
Triumph.
Oh,
Triumph.
okay.
I saw them with Molly Hatchet. That was a good one. Oh, I've seen hundreds and hundreds of shows, but it's been a long time. So Chattanooga Ed came into the chat. I don't know if you're familiar with Mr. Ed.
Yeah.
He's on all the live
Yeah.
streams. He's also right here.
Oh, is he? Oh, you got a picture of him there. Yeah, you do.
So Ed is on so many live streams, and Ed is a good friend of mine. He's on so many live streams that I thought I would make sure that he was on every one of my live streams. So I got him saying hi.
Well, hello, Ed.
And
hello,
I feel
Ed.
bad. I feel bad now because I said hi to Ed, but I didn't say hi to all these other awesome people that are in here. And still, I'm not seeing any questions, guys. Hit us up with some questions. Big M's got another one. Would you rather be a pond snail or planarian?
I probably want to be a planarian.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, definitely. I'd want to be a planarian. I could piss more fish off that way.
I did get hit with some of those in my one tank that I use for the stuff I pull out of the bay and everything. But the guppies took care of them.
Yeah, they will, most definitely. A lot of people get them in their shrimp tanks. A lot of people get them in their shrimp tanks, right? Because you don't have any predators to take care of them.
Yeah.
But throw a guppy in for a couple hours, so clear them up pretty quick.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that I had shrimp in this one little 5-gallon because I took some of the plants out of another tank and put them in there when I first set this one up, and there was shrimp eggs on those plants. So they had them. And I did have planaria in there, and they actually killed them.
Shrimp eggs on the plants.
Yeah, they were on the plants.
What kind of shrimp?
Just cherry shrimp. Yeah, I pulled them out of the other tank. I pulled the plants over.
How'd that happen?
Here. What's that?
How'd that happen?
I mean, they laid their eggs, I guess, on the plants.
They don't lay their eggs.
Well, we dropped them on the plants because I didn't scoop anything out. But and I didn't see any on the plants when I took them out or anything. So they had to hatch in this tank.
Or you got a shrimp. I don't know. All I'm saying is they flick them around in their bellies until they're shrimp, and they come out as shrimp. They don't come out as eggs.
Unless then maybe it must have been attached, but they were so tiny that I just didn't see them. When I pulled the plants out, and they lived. From me taking it out of one tank and put it in here and trimming it up and everything. And I didn't see any shrimp, but then one day I'm looking at it, I was like, holy crap, there was 3 shrimp in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know any other way.
Got transferred. Yeah.
Yeah, they must have just been on the plants. And Dragon Lair said, hurt my feelings, Rico. Okay.
And I seen Sean said they can kick eggs out if over clustered, and I get that, but I wouldn't have thought they would have survived because they need to be constantly tumbled by the female carrying them, right?
I don't know how they would have survived because anytime I transfer, well, depending on the plant, like this was the pogostemon. The pogostemon I know can handle the peroxide, so
Yeah.
I do a peroxide dip before I move plants around. So I trimmed it up and did a peroxide dip, and they still, I don't know how else they could have gotten in there. There was no,
Yeah.
I didn't net them. There was nothing else in this tank at all because I was getting it set up for a betta that died in shipping.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I don't know. That's cool though. You got some free shrimp.
well, they didn't survive because the planaria got them.
Ah,
And then I put a guppy or two in there. And now it's clean and it's, and then now that's the one I was using for those CPDs. Here we
okay.
go. All things fish.
Yeah, I see that.
You see that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Favorite live food culture that you like the least? See, I haven't done too much. All I've done is BBS. That's all I've done. Everything else has been frozen or flakes and stuff. So BBS is my only experience, and I do that. Like I've got the where is it? It's hanging up right. You can't see it, but it's that I got that Zis brine shrimp hatchery for Christmas. So
Okay.
I do a couple a couple of batches a week, and well, actually I do one a week, but I let it go for 2 days. I take some out and then I just leave them in there, and then I feed them the next day from there as well, and they do seem to do really well that way. And then whatever's left after the second day, I freeze.
Ah, okay. I probably hate doing baby brine shrimp the most because it's the biggest pain in the butt because you have to do it every day. You got to restart the culture every day. It's like you start all over every day. I'd rather run a culture that just stays, right? So I seen somebody say, yeah, that all things fish say that I thought culturing rotifers for my clowns was a nightmare. They're easier than brine shrimp. They're way easier than brine shrimp. Feed them. That's all you have to do. Feed them and change their water once in a while. Use them. You have to use them. You have to. There's certain things you have to do, but in the end, they're really actually easier than brine shrimp if you can keep your culture going.
What other cultures are there that you've experienced?
Yeah, so I've done Daphnia. Daphnia is another one that's really neat. They're really neat little bugs, and your fish go absolutely nuts for them. But I always had a hard time keeping it from crashing. I had a hard time keeping Daphnia going without. I guess I never gave it enough attention, to be honest. I never put enough stock in it. So my water would probably get fouled and they would diminish. But yeah, I've done Daphnia. I haven't done a lot of them, to be honest. Brine shrimp, rotifers, I have another copepod bucket as well for doing saltwater copepods. Earthworms.
Oh,
Earthworms. I like doing earthworms. They really like to eat your duckweed and stuff that you're throwing out. So you can kind of start a little recycling program in your fish room if you keep a styrofoam cooler of earthworms. That's about it. I don't do a
and
lot.
what do you feed the earthworms to?
Well, I haven't done them in a while, but I used to have a lot of geophagus and some bigger fish like that, and they absolutely loved them. I am sure my fisher woodcats would really love eating them.
Those things are so awesome. I wanted
Yeah.
one after I saw your video on them. I went and looked, and I wanted one so bad, and I saw how big they get, and I'm not going to have a tank that's good for them for a long time. But man, those are just awesome fish. I love them.
Yeah, they should probably have like a 4-foot tank.
Yeah. Well, I thought even bigger. Don't they get to be about a foot long?
Not quite. Yeah, a little bit of, like, mine are probably maxed out. They're probably as big as they'll get. They get there fast though, like
Yeah.
fast. Yeah,
They're
within
so
a year.
cool.
A
So
year they're
cool
full grown. Yeah.
You know, I didn't have a fish that I, you know, I get asked that quite often anytime I go on somebody else's stream or whatever. What fish do you want the most, or what's your, you know, and that's taken over. I actually have a fish. That's the one that I want that I probably won't have a place for a long time. Oh, I see another very important question here from Mr. Ed. What is Jesse's favorite hockey movie?
My favorite hockey movie.
I'm drawing a blank on the name. I know what mine is.
Yeah.
What's?
Mine would probably be. I don't really have one. Yeah. I don't. I kind of like watching real hockey. I don't really watch hockey movies.
There was. What's that one really famous one? It's funny.
Goons or something. Goonies or Goons or something.
Maybe. Yeah.
The Mighty Ducks.
It was like from the 80s.
The Mighty Ducks.
No, it was.
No.
It wasn't a kids one. It was pretty. You know.
Okay.
Pretty
it's
rough.
Probably, yeah.
Slapshot.
Slapshot. Okay.
That's what it was. Yeah, Slapshot. Yeah. That was a great movie. That was a great movie.
I don't watch hockey movies. I watch hockey.
Okay.
What else we got here? Hey, everybody's telling you Slapshot.
Yeah, they know. They know. I'm not seeing anything else.
No? So do I have you almost convinced to get a saltwater tank, a marine tank?
I think I want to try it, but you know, it's not going to happen anytime soon because again, 8 months I've been keeping fish, and I have so much I want to do in the freshwater world right now.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a lot of different kinds of fish right now. I have guppies, shrimp, snails, Boesmanis, CPDs, and some plecos. Oh, and some cories. That's it, you know, and I don't have any.
Yeah, you got about as many different types of fish as I do.
I don't feel like it's enough. I want to, like I'm getting a big tank in March. Not a big tank. For me, it's a big tank. Either, I don't know if it's going to be a 75 or a 90 yet, but
okay.
That's a big tank for me. And I want to do a lot of tetras and barbs in there. So I haven't really started to research which ones I want, but so at some point, yeah, I would like to do salt, but I can see myself not doing that probably for a good 2 years. But you know, things change. I say that, and then 3 months from now, I've got 5 salt tanks. I don't know.
It took me 30 years.
I don't think I have 30 years.
And it all started with a dumb puffer fish. That's what it all started with.
Yeah.
All this marine stuff. Yeah. Started with a puffer fish that it's not even a marine puffer fish. It's a brackish water puffer fish, but he seems quite happy in a marine environment. So that's how it started. Because we got bored of looking at just this essentially empty tank with brackish water with this green spotted puffer. So we said, well, just fine. He's just going to have to get used to learning how to be a marine green spotted puffer. And that's what we did. Just kind of slowly built a marine tank.
That's what I was going to ask. So you just changed it little by little. How long did it take to get it to where, you know, to where you considered a marine tank instead of brackish?
I'd say probably a month and a half.
Okay, that's not that long.
I did it pretty gradual. Just with the weekly water changes, I just brought it up more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
The pet shop that I bought them from, yeah, it was pretty much in fresh water there. So I just, like I said, gradually brought them up, and yeah, it does great. It does great in a marine environment. Healthy.
I'm getting my first pea puffers this week.
Yeah,
they should be here. They should be here Thursday, and they're being shipped from Washington. So I'm hoping that they make it. But
are you getting them from Jason?
I'm getting them from Aquahuna. Who's
okay.
Have you dealt with them at all, or
no.
know who they are? Oh yeah, because they probably don't ship up there. they're a wholesaler who they supply Aquarium Co-op and most of the fish stores in Washington. They don't sell to anybody in Washington other than fish stores.
Okay.
But outside of Washington State, they'll sell to people like myself. And they've got good prices. Their shipping's not expensive. I bought 6 pea puffers and 6 blue dream shrimp. No, I can't remember. One of the blue shrimp, and with shipping, it was like $65. So for six shrimp and 6 pea puffers and the shipping, that's not a bad price at all, I don't think.
That's cheap. That's Canada. Our shipping is so ridiculous. It's super expensive. Super expensive. You would have paid more than that just for the shipping in Canada.
Yikes.
Yeah, man.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I just got something from one of my friends who lives in Canada. He sent me this poster back here.
Okay.
It's hard to do. Walden, Henry David Thoreau. Do you know who that is?
No.
So a conservationist from a long, long time ago. Also, he wrote things like Civil Disobedience and a philosopher.
Okay.
That's the entire book in the shape of a tree. It's printed really tiny. So the poster's the whole thing. But I got that from my buddy who lives. I can't remember. I think he lives in St. Catharines right now.
So he's almost American.
Yeah. He would not like it if you said that.
Yeah, Kyra here said she's from Canada.
Yeah.
She said I haven't paid less than $40 for overnight shipping in Canada. That's fact. It's expensive.
I didn't know that Kira still lived in Canada. Yeah. I know she said she's been over here quite a bit in upstate New York.
Yeah, we're not allowed right now. I wish we were. I wish we were.
Someday.
Yeah,
someday.
Eventually.
Okay. All right. Well, geez, it's after 8. Diego from Petsotics. Maybe somebody could throw his link up in there, but he goes at 8 o'clock. So I want to go ahead and end this. I don't want to run over his time. Jesse, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. This was fun. We went an hour and a half, and it didn't even feel like it. Great time. It was good to learn more about you, and hopefully everybody goes and subscribes to your channel because, again, you saw he gave you plenty of examples of all the great information he has. So go take a look if you haven't already.
Nice.
Everybody,
thanks for having me, man. Been a slice.
Thanks, guys. Oh, Chattanooga Ed said not tonight. Oh, okay. Well, we should probably still end it anyways. Hour and a half.
Yeah,
I'm an old man. I got to use the bathroom. What's that?
We can't end it and then stop ending it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Take care.
Thanks very much, sir.